Hello guys, welcome to Sound of Manchester. I'm Kushagra and I have with me Anurag and Pratmesh. We are here with you after the United match, the very first match post lockdown. United traveled to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. In the end, it turned out to be a decent result, but as we had all discussed in our preview, every one of us was hoping for a win because this does give the opportunity to Chelsea to stretch their lead further from us. But anyway, it was an interesting game. I'd say there were some flaws on the United side. There were some flaws on the Spurs side, some evident flaws on the Spurs side. But of course, we're here for all things United. So I'll just start with Anurag. Hey man, any views or any thoughts on the game?
Hi guys, I hope all of you are doing well. So yeah, I mean, it was slightly you could see all players being rusty on both sides, in fact. So it was you could just give, I think you could say it was a fair result at the end of the day. And considering the fact that this was the last big game for us, I mean, in terms of facing the top six, so I think that it was a decent result. It was a decent result to take away. And one of the talking points of the game was the the ease with which we conceded the first goal to Steven Bergwijn. Firstly, Luke Shaw was getting too close to the centre backs. That's what I felt, and that left too much space on the right hand side. Uh, yeah, on the right side. So I think Jose Mourinho did give some instruction. Please do check out that. I could see something happening. I don't know if that was the discussion, but immediately after that, I think a couple of minutes after that, Bergwijn makes a brilliant run. Harry Maguire caught on his heels. I mean, he took an age to turn. And if you remember what we talked in one of our previous videos when we talked about our defense, we wanted one solid center back like a Harry Maguire with one fast and pacey center back like a Eric Bailly or a Tuanzebe, because yesterday's goal was a perfect example. Although Bergwijn went past Harry Maguire, if it was an Eric Bailly instead of Victor Lindelof, he could have gotten very close to Bergwijn. He would have made his life a little more difficult. Lindelof couldn't get close to Bergwijn, and that gave him a very simple. I mean, it didn't bother him much while taking a shot. If it was some other center back, maybe he would have given it a second thought while shooting. He would have tried to take it on his left foot or something. That didn't happen because Lindelof was a bit too slow, and that is one problem we are going to face a lot of times because there are too many pacey center forwards in Premier League. And that was a very cheap way to concede a goal. And obviously, David De Gea, although the ball was struck very decently, David De Gea was at fault. It was pretty straightforward on his knees, and that's something when you call David De Gea a world class keeper, that's not the kind of a mistake that you expect from a world class keeper. So that was a very easy way to concede a goal. It was disappointing, but it was what it is.
Yeah, I find it hard to disagree with most things there, but I don't know. I mean, I agree that Harry Maguire needs the pace of the centre half next to him, but how much of a leeway are we willing to give Harry Maguire himself? Because the way Bergwijn
True.
goes next to him, it's so easy. It's on his right
Yeah.
foot. Harry Maguire just opens up, so he's almost looking through the splits or something like that. I don't know, man. I mean, he just goes past that central defender that is supposed to be your rock at the back. I mean, it's that was
Yeah.
one, and of course, I mean, I'll just segue into my question to Prathamesh here, but uh, David De Gea, how many times? And I've been one of the biggest fans of that guy, and you know, we've all had this feeling for about a season and a half or season at least that maybe something's missing, something's wrong. No one really brings it up. No one wants to talk about it. It looks really horrible and ungrateful on United fans to question De Gea, but Roy Keane went over the top. I believe so, but there is some merit to what he's saying. Of course, he'll not go out punching the guy, but surely, I mean, it's happened too many times. I can remember just like 3 or 4 goals from this season itself, and it's happened. It's been happening for like almost 2 seasons in a row now. And how much longer do we sustain this, Pratmesh? And also your thoughts on the Roy Keane guy.
Well, I think you were right when you said that we have been sustaining this for the last couple of seasons. This season itself, De Gea has made 3 or 4 mistakes that have directly led to a goal. The latest one was obviously yesterday, but there was another one which was a goal which we conceded at Goodison Park to Calvert-Lewin. I think David De Gea, you have to put him at fault for this goal because I mean, yes, Maguire let Bergwijn go away easily when he could have probably just stripped him and taken a yellow card for the team. Lindelof was on his heels, not at all prepared. That he didn't even expect probably that Steven Bergwijn will actually move past Harry Maguire. When it came to De Gea, I think he was setting himself up for a shot that was more towards his right hand side. It came to the opposite side and it came with a lot of pace. You generally expect David De Gea to have strong arms and strong reactions. The problem was De Gea seemed somewhere in between using his arms and his legs, and it just he just miscoordinated with himself. He just got confused in the moment and let the ball in. Although he did get a touch to the ball, but you generally expect De Gea to do better. I personally feel yes, he has been making quite a few errors this season, and his something in his brain just doesn't seem to be completely into the game. He either makes mistakes that lead to goal, or he makes some very basic passing errors as well within the game. So I think that has been happening for a season and a half now, and it is getting on a few United fans' nerves. And I think I would also take it that there are a lot of Manchester United fans who turn on their players very easily. So I'm not going to be too critical of De Gea in that way that people are turning on him. People will turn on him because there are a lot of expectations on him. Roy Keane, well, I sometimes do not understand whether Roy Keane is a Manchester United ex-player or a Liverpool ex-player. It was just the way he goes about try just it's just demoralizing when you hear Roy Keane's views on Manchester United players. Sometimes you see the other pundits as well who have played for their teams. They try to encourage their team, try to support their team, but Roy Keane is very honest, very blunt, and I think he went way over the top yesterday when he said that De Gea is a very overrated goalkeeper and he's the most overrated player he's seen in his life. I think everybody should remember what De Gea has done for us. But having said that, it seems it is high time now that Dean Henderson has to step up in the shoes sometime very sooner than later. So yeah, I think Roy Keane's rant was unwarranted, but at the same time, he wasn't wrong. But I think he could have conveyed the same message in a much better way.
I understand that point, but Roy Keane, I mean, at United, we've had plenty of hotheads over there. Leading by example is Sir Alex Ferguson. One of the stories that Robin Van Persie narrated about Sir Alex Ferguson was before that game where we won the league, the last league that we won against Aston Villa. He was actually giving a good beating to Wayne Rooney. If you can't find Robin Van Persie, then fuck off. This is
Yeah.
the precise thing
Okay.
that Alex Ferguson said to Wayne Rooney. And the next game, Rooney, because of this rant playing in his head, he actually had the audacity to look up and then find Robin Van Persie. It's some I
But
understand the
but
maybe
Anurag, I
not the
feel there is
right
a
way to put it,
difference.
but I think it's just a heat of the moment. That was a very frustrating goal, and
But Anurag, I
I
also
think
feel
Keane is
that.
one person who lets his emotions go like quite easily. But yeah, it is kind of understandable, not complete. I know it was wrong. I mean, I won't say wrong, but it was kind of over the top. Actually, the whole uh, statement was over the top, but I don't think he could have put it up in a better way. Not definitely Roy Keane.
Anurag, I don't understand one thing though, but there is a difference between putting things out in your own dressing room, in your own training ground, and doing it in the media. So I think if Sir
Uh,
Alex would have said this in I don't think he would ever say this in the media in the first place. And
no,
apart
but
from that,
yeah, just to maybe sort of counter your point a little. See, first of all, of course, you have to understand these guys are not employed by United anymore, so you can't really expect them to favor one team or the other. And I have seen enough pundits from their own clubs, having a go at their own clubs because I felt the Star Sports coverage that we had. I felt last night, what's his name?
Owen.
No, Sherwood.
Uh,
Oh, sorry.
Tim Sherwood. Yeah, Tim Sherwood.
Yeah, Sherwood, right? Sherwood
Yeah,
was going in on Jose the entire night
yeah.
because he
Ex
wasn't happy
Tottenham
with the
player.
way he, Yeah, he wasn't
Yeah,
ex-Tottenham captain,
yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah,
he's a Premier League winning captain with Blackburn as well. So,
Blackburn Rovers. Yeah,
yeah, so I'm saying, so if it's not necessary that Roy Keane needs to mollycoddle his words or anything like that. I think he's paid to have an opinion. There is a reason, he makes all these blockbuster claims and he gets his views are sold. So he also has, I'm not saying he probably thinks about that, but I'm just saying that's how it works. And that's why different people have different levels of credibility. Like, Graham Souness keeps talking about people and keeps talking about Van Bissaka now. Now, Van Bissaka is a waste of money for him. So, like, whom to think of. And no disgrace to Roy Keane. I think that's just how he is. Probably that is the reason. I think if you guys have heard of Raphael Honestein, he tweeted last night. It's a mighty surprise that Roy Keane never made it in management. So it is not a surprise that he didn't make it because this is how you will deal with the players. Players will not play for you, and that's what eventually happened with him. So anyway,
true.
moving past that, enough of the negative Nancy's here. 60th minute, 62nd minute. My brother actually made a pretty sick joke. I can't repeat here. And that's when Pogba came on, right? He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna have a good night now. Huh? So tough time sleeping." So he's like, this is what you've been talking about for the last 3 months. Finally, you get to see this guy. And Pogba comes in. I'm not talking about the pass. I'm not talking about the dribbling for the penalty. I'm not talking about anything else later. Simply his first involvement in the game. That tackle on the top left of the pitch for
Yeah.
Tottenham
Perfect.
and
Picture
on
perfect.
Sissoko. I think it was Musa Sissoko.
Sissoko.
He gets the tackle on Sissoko. Sissoko has been bossing the game up front till now. Comes, takes the ball. It's not your place. Yeah, but and then just owns that match. And I was so disappointed that Rashford couldn't take the chance, and I don't blame Rashford because he's not played a match in what 6 months, 7 months, and
Yeah.
but oh, that would have been picture perfect. He did the same thing from the other wing last time. He would have done it from the other
Yeah,
wing, and that goal was across the goal, and this would have been a curler into the far corner. I mean, there's so many ways it could have gone, and Paul Pogba just facelifted this game, like it's complete facelift, and he gave us those 20 minutes. That's what we're going to be waiting for till Sheffield. So first Anurag and then Pratmesh. I mean, guys, how do you view the last third of the match from 60 to 90? That is when United had arguably their best chances, and of course the score as well, the penalty. And how good was Bruno? Of course.
yeah. I mean, I think right from the outset till the very end, Bruno was the only midfielder who was trying to put those forward passes and trying to break those defensive lines, that stringent defensive lines. I think, before people were talking about how for us playing Pogba and Bruno could weaken us up a little defensively, but I think we became too weak offensively with Fred and Scott McTominay. When Pogba and Bruno came in, it was such a delight. Pogba, whatever he did in those 28 minutes, I don't think any player on the pitch did in 90 minutes. It was absolutely magnificent. And Bruno quite simply put that penalty in, like he had no pressure in the whole world, and you could sense this guy was going to put the ball in. It's been a long time since we have had such confidence on a player. Especially our penalty record has been so dismal. And yesterday, Peter Drury was mentioning no team has screwed penalties as many times as we've done. So I think had Pogba started, we would have been talking literally 2-0, 3-0. Had he gone about his business that way.
Yeah, I think it was great to watch Paul Pogba back. Obviously, it's not just about what he brings as a quality through his creativity, through his passing, through his shooting range. It's just the attitude that he brings on a football pitch. He brings that attitude like I am the best player on the pitch. I'm going to show it to you, and that attitude is quite rare. And it's good if he has that attitude and he's humble towards it and he keeps performing like he did yesterday for 28, 34 minutes. Uh, the probably there is a reason why people have been talking about having Pogba in this team. There was only one player on the entire football pitch and very few players except for him in the Premier League that could have pulled off that half volley pass towards Marcus Rashford. There are very
True.
few such players in the entire league who would have done that. Probably
And the
Kevin De
ease with which he
Bruyne.
did that, like literally so
Yeah,
nonchalant.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
like,
I just one point. Sorry, I don't think anyone can do that.
Yeah.
Mm.
So probably him, Kevin De Bruyne, or somebody. Probably, I guess. I don't think anybody else could have done that. But yeah, I think that's just the ease at which Pogba plays this game, and the way he just humiliated Dyer. Oh my God! I saw this being done by Ismaila Sarr today for Watford,
Yeah,
but that one which Pogba did, it was so smooth. It was in slow motion, as if Eric Dyer was just slowly stumbling into tripping
death.
Pogba. It was beautiful to watch in a way, and yeah, it was wonderful. It will be interesting to see Bruno Pogba, Matic in midfield next game.
Yeah, just another thing, just the inevitability of it. Like, I think most of the fans just expected this is going to be a penalty. Here comes
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
twist, and you can see it. You can see it. You can see Eric Dyer falling for the trap, and if you're a Tottenham fan, you're just screaming at him, "Don't! There's Ben Davis right in front of you. Nothing's going to happen. Ball's not going anywhere." And still he goes nudges. I just hope United won because I'm hoping for an Aston Villa miracle tomorrow. When Chelsea play them. So anyway, so yeah, all in all, guys, it was a draw. It doesn't really change much for United as of now. As we are recording, Leicester have already drawn their match. Though I don't think United will be able
yeah,
to
uh,
beat
and
Leicester. Eight
and
points.
also Wolves lead their game, so that is a bit of a
Oh,
issue
Wolves are
there.
leading. Oh, that
Yeah,
that that sort of sucks because then that means Wolves are level with United on points. So yeah, that's one thing. And then of course we have got that Sheffield United match tomorrow when Sheffield play their game and then they play us. So if they win, they'll go ahead of us. So there are a few combinations there to be had. So both of you satisfied with the draw, slightly disappointed, and just anything that you're looking forward to as we wrap up the video.
I think as Bruno Fernandes said in his interview recently, how can you be satisfied with something like a draw at Manchester United? You are expecting a win, and a win is all that makes you happy. The only thing about yesterday that made me happy, I mean, it was a satisfying result because we came back after a long time, and we were a bit too rusty to begin with. I mean, both the teams were rusty to begin with, but then eventually we managed to get a point away from home. But the satisfying thing about yesterday was definitely Eric Dyer's slow motion falling on Pogba. That was probably the best moment of the night. I know Bruno's penalty was immaculate, but that was just too romantic for a Manchester United fan to watch.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah. See, there was no way even a Tottenham fan could say Tottenham were the better side, or at least they were close to United on the day. We were the quality that we produced, especially in the last 30 minutes, it was immaculate. Uh, on another day, it was quite unfortunate. Hugo Lloris made that absolute killer of a save, world class.
Yeah.
We could have been talking about 2-1, 3-1, even after the things that have transpired. So it's fine, I think. But yeah, eventually, I know Bruno said something, but it's fine. One after the game, in hindsight, there's no point in repenting. So yeah, I think 1-1 is fine.
Yeah, so yeah, as you know, guys, you can see, guys, our pundits have made their peace with the result. As for me, I would still like to, keep it hanging because I don't think it was fine. But of course, because in the wider context of things, it would be fabulous if United could secure a top four position if somehow they could overhaul Chelsea, which now looks increasingly difficult. We need Villa to do us a favor. Let's hope Grealish is able to do something, prove his worth. So anyway, all in
Audition
all,
time.
yeah, audition time. Yeah, all in all, it was a good match. It was a good match. I felt United dominated the match as both we said, and look forward to the Bruno Pogba partnership. I think that's what I'm looking forward to in the game coming ahead. So thank you once again, guys. Lovely to speak with you once again, and thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Do spread the word about our channel. Yeah, we've got jailings as well. So maybe not, we do not spread that, but yeah, apart from else, I think we're all good. Thank you so much, guys, and keep it locked to Sound of Man.